Hello, welcome. It's me, the guy who fucks. Is my mic working? I think it might be. It's me, the guy who fucks, and we're back with more abysmal gameplay, except this time it's not gameplay. We're talking about some fucking music, man. We're gonna be rating a bunch of Thrice albums. Actually, all the Thrice albums. So I'm sorry if you're expecting video games and you're getting this bullshit instead. That's unfortunately not what I intended to do, but we're trying to switch it up. What's up, Silith? What's up, Necromancy Billy? What's up, Mushroom? Also, big thank you to Mushroom for subbing. At least I think he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, okay. I don't know if that actually came up in the chat. Oh, shit. And thank you for the sub, Silith. Wow, look at this.
Take the sub.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. See, unlike other streamers, I don't differentiate between Prime subs because I don't give a shit. I just care about people and money, man. That's all that matters. But yeah, I don't want to make the intro too long because I'm not ready to like get back in the groove of streaming yet. I don't know. I just felt like I needed to do something, and I don't know. We're not really too good at breaking the silence here. I'm drinking some Dragonwell green tea though. That's for absolute certain. But yeah, so I don't really know what's gonna come of the future here, but I do intend to at least stream some Jack Bros for, you know, the Halloween season, and also because I owe Dorman that. But I've had a little bit of free time during the week probably next week too that I might have. So I'm excited to maybe do a little something here and there. Let me know if the audio is okay. It's like I said, I haven't streamed in like over 4 months, and even then, it was like only I think just 9 souls and oh, so I streamed Street Fighter. That's right, I did do that. So I wasn't trying to make a big thing about returning because it is what it is. But I do want to do this more because I missed everybody and I miss doing this thing. And I swear to God, it seems that I only stream when Six does, and I did not mean for that to happen. Anyway, give a happy birthday to Mr. Six and 2/3. I'm gonna give him a shout out. You should be there instead of this stream. But okay, so real quick, before I get into stuff, I want to do a disclaimer. So I don't want to get copyright struck in the VOD here. And so I'm going to turn the music really low. I don't know if that will affect it. But I know their first album, their demo, doesn't really have any copyright attached to it as far as I know. So maybe I could play that one a little louder. But I'm going to be playing the album that I talk about as I place it. But maybe I have a Spotify window that will pop up that you guys will see. And I hate that I'm using Spotify. I'm a fucking freak poser, but what can I do? It's what I've been using for music. I know that there's better alternatives, but right now, look, man, I'm trying to get everything in my life settled. I could worry about ethical consumption a little bit later. But I don't. It's gonna be really quiet. What I might do is I might play a couple seconds at like audible volume to hear stuff if there's something I really want y'all to hear. But at least the lyrics will be there, so you guys will have some kind of B-roll. I hope it does not get copyright struck, but it probably will be. Hand cranked gramophone or bust. I'm about to hand crank on stream. Want me to play the hooks? Man, that's funny because I got a lot to say about Thrice hooks. Billy, are you a Thrice fan though? I like the one where they talk about invisible things. We are the image of the invisible. And then the one where they talk about honey of some color. Yeah, but black honey. I don't understand why it has to be black honey. Golden with the sub, Jesus Christ. We're jorking it live. I saw Golden on Six's stream. Thank you for the sub, buddy. I miss you and I love you. And Alonzo, what's up, man? I don't know if you're a Thrice fan. I think we talked about them before, but I'm about to have some opinions because I'm a guy with glasses. Yaiko too. Oh my God, oh my boys. I missed Yaiko and Golden so fucking bad. I wasn't gonna make a big deal about coming back to stream. Oh fuck, okay, wear the Free Willy necklace. Okay, that I can do. And here's the lube necklace, the Free Willy lube necklace. I was going to make a big deal about coming back to stream, but I really want to do a stream with Golden and Yaiko again. I really fucking miss that. I really miss yelling at Yaiko. I miss little broing Yaiko, even though he's come so far. Anyway, this is my Free Willy lube necklace. There's nothing more exciting than trails to accept. Dude, I've been playing. Okay, you know what though, bro? I got it. I fucking got it. Yaiko, me, Golden, and Aren. Ease versus Trails. Let's fucking make it happen, bro. I'm gonna smoke all you guys in it. Let's fucking do it. It's crossplay too. Let's do it. We'll talk about it later. But okay. So one disclaimer. I don't want to take too much time. Thank you everybody for coming to hang out. Not the fall slop? Fall slop? Wait, hold on. I don't get it. Oh, the foul slop, like Falcom. Yeah, I'm talking about Ease versus Trails. Okay. The most watched. Dude, I just took a shower and I smell fucking good. So that's all that matters. What's up, Onyx? I will get my ass. Dude. Yeah, I'm not good, dude. I'm not good at that game, I don't think. You actually might be good, Yaiko. I can see you being good at that game. I don't know what it is. I could just see it. But okay, so real quick, let me make a disclaimer about the tier list. So first of all, I'm not one of those fucking nerds who tries to make everything. I'm not one of those nerds, he says, as he does a tier list stream. I'm not one of those nerds who tries to have like objectivity here. We can argue about what is the better album sonically, musically, compositionally. I don't care about that. All I care about is how the albums I like the most. My subjective thoughts on it. Yeah, there is some like things like, oh, there might be like, oh, this record sounds like shit here or whatever. Sure. Or like you literally cannot hear this in the mix, etc. But this is just my opinion. And I'm not trying to be definitive. I'm not trying to force anybody or sway anybody to think the way I do. Although I hope that if you like Thrice and if you have never listened to Thrice, this might color some things for you, sure. But I'm biased, man. You cannot make a tier list about something as subjective as music taste and have it be at all like concrete or whatever. So don't get pissed off. This is just my take. That's all I gotta say. When did Joey get a bodacious? When do we? Oh, I just shaved today, so maybe later. You acknowledge my joke about hog cranking. I think I was in the middle of it, but there's so many things happening, and I'm still getting used to this mushroom. I'm sorry, but I'll crank it. But the poll with Estelle, hell yeah. Bro coming back with a Thrice tier list is like Andre 3000 coming back with a flute album. True. Wreckage, what's up? Thank you, man. I miss Wreckage so much. Love you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. You want me to rate Thrice? They're one of my favorite bands. So I was going to talk a little bit about the history of Thrice, but I'll probably do that when I play First Impressions, because that'll be the first thing I talk about. So let's switch on over to what we're looking at here. And there will be a Spotify thing when I start playing it, but right now the First Impressions is not on Spotify. So we're going to have to deal with that. So, okay. Hold on 1 second. All right, sorry, fellas. Will this come into this? No, okay, it doesn't. All right, good. I could keep everything on one screen. Sorry, this is awesome. So we have in order the very first EP they put out, which I'm playing now. Can you guys hear this at all? And again, I can't have it be too audible because I don't want this shit getting copyright struck. However, this riff, though, let me tell you, though, this riff right here. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold up. This riff is so sick for a band that recorded this in like 98 or whatever. So sick. Very Metallica inspired. No, I'm not an all live albums are shit guy. I just, that's a separate category. Let me talk about John with the sub. Thank you, buddy. Hi, John. Thank you for stopping in here after 6's stream, though. I rate some live albums, but yeah, me too, actually. But no, I don't think so. I just don't know where to really place them, and so I'll try to make them fit. Like, I think that the Mark, Tom, and Travis show by Blink-182 is like an all-timer live album, bro. I'm not even fucking around. That album is so good, even though I think it's fake live. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm not going to talk too much about the history of Thrice. I'm thinking about, if this goes well and you guys like shit like this, maybe I'll do like a video about this that's like actually a Thin Lizzy Live and Dangerous. You'll just see it. Chris is Weird. It has a version of Blanket Stare that's way better than the album. You know, with the Masayoshi Takanaka, Carlos Santana Super Show. True. Yeah, it's multiple shows combined, but I think it's like super overdubbed, and it's got like Melodyne on it. So, it's a poser live album. I always thought this lyric was living second grade, and I remember putting that in my AIM profile. Can you guys hear this, by the way? Do you think it's quiet enough to not get DMCA struck? Jeff Rosenstock's live stuff. Oh, he's really good live, though. I saw Bomb the Music Industry a few times in my day. Okay, real quick. So, this is what I'm listening to right now. Thrice came out with, it's like a demo EP. It's called First Impressions. It's super rare. I don't actually own a physical of this, but let me tell you the story about Thrice. So, a cousin of mine, it's not really a cousin. He's my mom's really good friend's son, right? So he was a dude I kind of grew up with a little bit. I'd see him all the time. We'd play a little bit of Pokemon, play a little bit of Smash, play a little Mario Kart, etc., etc. And he was originally from Irvine, California, where his dad lived. And Thrice is from Irvine, California. And I remember in the year of our Lord, it was the year 2000, because I remember that distinctly. I was 12 years old, or just about to be 12 years old. And he told me about that when he came here for the summer. I remember we were at the fucking North Street Beach. We were fucking around. We were like putting each other's heads underwater and stuff, playing dicks, you know what I'm saying? And he was telling me about this band. He's like, oh, do you listen to music? Because I know that you like Limp Bizkit and Korn and stuff, right? And I was like, yeah, I like music. So he's like, well, there's this underground band that's local to me. And waterboarding for kids, yeah. Well, luckily, a year later, after the year 2000 and 2001, after 9/11, there would be waterboarding for adults. And some of my people, you know what I'm saying? You keep playing dicks, you know what I'm saying, girl? No, I don't. It's like when you're like, come on, you guys know what I mean. It's like, oh, also, hold on, let me go back. When they're like swords, yeah. Because this is my favorite part about Thrice. This is the thing that made me really love Thrice. Is, okay, the beginning of the song TNC. I'm actually just going to turn this up for this particular... I'm sorry, this is all over the place, but... The beginning... So the song TNC is on their second album, Identity Crisis. And they re-recorded it. But in this version, there's a sample. And it's this.
Wait. How? It can't be. Kakarot? Super Saiyan? But he's a low-class soldier. It doesn't make any sense.
So fucking badass, bro. And you know what the best part is? Well, I'll wait for the drift to play a little. And I don't think this should get... Again, this doesn't have copyrighted. Because it's a demo, and I don't think it ever got copyrighted. Okay, so first of all, the song is called TNC, and I know I'm just going all over the place here. The song is called TNC, it's short for Town and Country, and it's named after a skating game for the NES, which I actually used to play, and the riff is from the game. Like, so it's like, you have this band who's like fucking quoting Dragon Ball Z and putting like NES covers, NES riffs.
Glad to see you back.
Ale!
Maybe
What's up,
someday
man?
you will be able to say the same.
No, bro, I'm always glad to see you. Fuck yeah, thank you for the sub though. That's really kind of you. Thanks everybody for the sub. You guys are really sweet. But yeah, so anyway, my friend / cousin told me about this band, and he's like, oh, well, I have their demo, this local band. I could burn you the demo. And I was like, whoa, that's illegal. That felt like... And also, Underground made it sound like, you know, the bands were doing drugs and selling drugs. And I don't know. I was like... Good boyed out, despite not being a good boy. It was a sight... Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm feeling... a little stupid today, Ali, but I should have known better. After a few months, you forget these things. Forget to prime yourself. Chromelodian. Yeah, it's like Rocket Power. Wait, was Rocket Power the show? Armor? What's up, Armor? We picking up your kids? Armor, do you like Thrice? I feel like you fuck with Thrice. But anyway, so he burned me this album, First Impressions, their demo. And he gave me a CD with it. And he also wrote some of the lyrics. He like printed out some of the lyrics for me from the insert. He like tried to do an MS Paint of the insert because he didn't have a scanner. And I remember listening to this all the fucking time. I didn't really like it that much because it felt like, I don't know, it felt like what I thought Metallica sounded like. And there is like actually a huge Metallica influence on this. You should write yourself a post-it with opera. Yeah. Well, okay, I remember, but bro, you know, I haven't streamed in so long. I have post-it notes in my head. Also, I wouldn't be able to see the post-it notes unless I was writing in fucking size 72 impact font. But yeah, so he burned this for me, and then later on, when Thrice's the big studio album Identity Crisis came out, which is this one right here. He burned this for me also, and then he sent me a. I'll talk about it when I get to that, but I bring this up in great detail because Thrice was a band that got me into music. Thrice is the band that I can most thank for getting me into music. Because before, I just listened to, like, shit on the radio, and I would have my parents buy me CDs, you know, like Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit and the Free Willy soundtrack where I got this necklace and all that kind of shit. So, you know, I loved Blink-182, sure, but, you know, what do I know, right? Linkin Park was your first Hybrid Theory? Hell yeah, man. Because we're around the same age, I think, Armor. That makes sense. So yeah, that was like my. I'll talk a little bit more. I've mentioned this kind of stuff before, but I think like Audio Galaxy and whatever all for getting me, helping me discover bands. Because what I used to do is when I got Identity Crisis by Thrice, it had thank yous to bands they played with or that helped them out or that they were inspired by in the liner notes. And I would look up those bands and listen to those bands from Audio Galaxy. And a lot of those bands were kind of, you know, pretty underground, pretty not mainstream. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, guys? And I discovered so much music that way. So it was because of Thrice that did it. And also, one of the things that really appealed to me about them was that, like, the lyrics were very almost prose-esque, and I was a huge reader at the time, and I don't know. I was like, the music I was listening to and mainstream music in general didn't have that kind of urgency. It didn't have that that like punk rock prose poetry aspect to it that Thrice did, and that really sold me. And the concept of, you know, urgent emotional expression through music was formed pretty much here. You know, because before I thought I saw music as kind of like an entertainment and just that. Like, Blink-182 had some songs I was like, I fucking feel that, man. You thought they were Korean? At least Korean or Chinese. But, what's up, Aaron? Aaron, you fuck with Thrice? If anyone fucks with Thrice, I guess maybe nobody here really. Let me know what you guys think. But, all right, so this album is hard to talk about. I know that was a huge fucking preamble. You're thinking Twice. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. So this is super rough. This is a super rough demo EP, but the riffs are kind of nuts, man. And let me go to what was my favorite song, Better Days. Now, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit for this, for the sake of this. Because, again, no copyright. Oh, Thrice fucks. Oh, Frankie, what up, baby? You like Silhouette? Yeah, Silhouette's got this, the riff, bro. What's up? What's up, Jace? VC. Oh, dude. So, Tony, you're... Oh, my God, dude. You're such a fucking boomer. I have opinions on Visu. We'll get to that. But this song is so sick because it's got like movements to it. The tier list for Joey. Big tier list for Joey. And I don't know, like, yeah, it's very skate punk, and it's like an alternate reality where Thrice was like continued to be a skate punk band. But there's like tension and driving anthemic quality to this song in particular. I mean, you got the punk drumming that sounds exactly like Face to Face, you know, and like with more metal riffs. I don't know. But you can see that they were like a composite of all these influences and all that kind of shit for all the bands and genres that they listened to, and I thought that was really fucking sick. But I mean, this album, it's hard for things to stick out. I do think that their musical ability really shines through here. Even Phoenix Ignition and MP3. Oh fuck yeah, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, so I think the first actual song that I listened to was TNC because my friend played that for me before he gave me the CD. And again, the Dragon Ball Z sample, bro, and the same friend told me about Dragon Ball Z. And thinking about like music and video games intertwined, it was such a concept I didn't understand at the time. But I would listen to this shit all the time while playing Mega Man and while playing N64 and PS1 games. I remember Identity Crisis and Chrono Cross had a bit of a parallel with me. But yeah, no, I think this album actually fucks. Like, it's very young sounding and whatever. But it's I don't know, man. It still goes hard. It like what Dustin was singing about on this album, like the whole concept of like faith and challenging faith and all that kind of shit. It persists even to the album that came out a week ago or a week and a half ago. It's all prototypical. Oh, and then this quote. This is from a Bruce Willis movie. Fuck, what movie is this from? I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Nintendo with me.
Will you play Nintendo with me?
I can't think of anybody
I can't think of anyone I'd rather play Nintendo with. I don't know, man. This is fitting. But it's a hard album to listen to now. I'm gonna link the demo in the chat here. It's not on Spotify or Google Music or any of the music stuff. So that's pretty much the only quick, easy way to do it. I guess it's technically on YouTube Music then, right? Because I think that aggregates. But just by virtue of being a demo, it's not really my favorite, even though it does have moments, I think, that trump aspects of Identity Crisis. So I don't know if I want to do this in like sequential order. So Tony was talking about Visu, right? So let me pull up Visu. Hold on one second. I should have had this ready to go. Oh my God, there's birds outside you guys actually might be able to hear. These fucking birds outside my window are so loud, bro. I'm gonna play some Visu here. So we'll talk about that one. And then I can put the Spotify up here. The pigeons. The pigeons. No, they maybe not me. Maybe not me. I'm not the one who has pigeons living. Oh wait, that's so quiet. That's even more quiet. I'm not the one who has pigeons living right outside my door. I feel like demos are impossible to tier just because there's so much more. Right, exactly, Billy. Like, I mean, this album is like, you could technically call it a studio album, but it very much does sound like demos. I remember the band did say something about the guitar sounding like kazoos, and there's forbidden knowledge about First Impressions. So I haven't listened to that whole. This is the one time I actually want my cursor. But what's really funny about that link, it probably has it, is most MP3s of First Impressions have a big, like, weird scratch in the middle of Better Days, the last song on the record. And I've never been able to find an MP3 that doesn't have that. Only mine, and I still have my burnt CD of it. Mine does not have it. Although I think it does skip in other places, so you hate to see it. I never realized how much octave pedal in the left speaker is in this song. But yeah, okay, so Visu, this is their let's count First Impressions as a demo EP. Okay? Octave Pedal Traveler! Fuck you, man! Oh, you fucking asshole, dude. All right, so let's count this as an EP. This is the first album, second album, third album. And then this is like a compilation. And this is the fourth album. So the fourth album that they released. I don't really like Visu that much. It's definitely better than First Impressions. It's so this was an album where, I mean, okay, I love all Thrice albums. I do. Here, I'm gonna play like one of the more heavier songs. Hold Fast Hope is probably one of them. Are you going to rate Visu low? I am, yes. Visu is low for me. It's still a good album. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this to you. You really don't like Visu? Or you really think Visu's that good? Most people do. I think it's a really interesting album because it does a lot of stuff. It was a marked shift into different things. Well, yeah, but it's like diet post tone. And like, I mean, look, it's I think out of all the albums, people say Illusion of Safety is a product of its time. Artist of the Ambulance is a product of its time. But I think this album is a fucking huge product of its time. Right, it is. And people say shit like, oh, it's experimental and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it was experimental to their style, but I just don't like it sonically. I really fell out of love with Thrice when this record came out. And years later, I went back to it, and I thought I was being too hard on it. And I still kind of feel the same. I definitely appreciate it more now. I used to abjectly dislike it, and now I don't abjectly dislike it. It's not one of my favorite albums of theirs. So, okay, I remember this song right here, Atlantic. And this song I liked. It wasn't, okay, here's the thing. I didn't dislike this album because it was different. I disliked this album because I didn't think it really was a stride for them. I like slow shit. You put a song in 3/4 and you slow it down, you know, that's my favorite song on a record. I don't care if it sucks. You know, like that and there's a lot of really slow aspects to this record, but really melodic as well. But Thrice has always been melodic, so that wasn't weird to me. And there's still yelling, there's still loud ass riffs on this. But funny enough, the songs that I like the most is this one, Atlantic. And I remember my friend on AIM sent me this because he's like, dude, no, this album is so good. I don't like anything else that they did, but I like this one a lot. Like Monster Flame, I think this might be one of my favorite songs too. I really like this one. Of Dust and Nations is the best song on this because it's very Dune inspired. Say we'll cover you. Like this little line, I fucking love that line. I don't know, just the melody on it. But this song, I hated it when I first heard it. Oh, dude, yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think we know we're on the same page there. This song is Stand and Feel Your Worth is okay. Red Sky is really good too. So there's no real like bad songs on this. I just think they're kind of mid. And I respect they started getting really into like nerdy recording shit. Like for example, The Earth Will Shake. I think they did some stuff. This song is really sick live. But they did this thing where they like tried to use like old school recording equipment and like acoustics that were super old and probably had super old strings and maybe broken in, like a little too broken in, a little too run through. So there's a dedication to the bit that Thrice had never really done before. But at the same time, even as far back as fucking First Impressions, Thrice had a concept for album flow. You got like the little interludes of instrumental or quotes, the outro to First Impressions. There's a physical media aspect to Thrice, and what I mean by that is like the physical album, the experience of the album, the sitting down, looking at the lyrics, looking at the art, letting the little passages speak for themselves, like Pink Floyd shit, you know? As far back as their first like demo, they did that shit. And so this album was like a now we can afford it kind of thing. And I respect that for them. I think it was a market shift, but it's just to me it's too transitionary of a record. And I even at the time, I'm not just saying this in hindsight, because you know, you have to consider, at least I consider historical context when I think about the media that I like, for sure. But I do think that even at the time, it felt transitionary. Did I say transitory? I think I said transitory. That's not the same thing. Transitionary record. And it is and it isn't. But in terms of sound, I just don't think it was fully nailed on this record. What I do think they fully nailed, to the fucking cross, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me go back. What I do think got fully nailed was the Alchemy Index. Now, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'll rearrange all the stuff when I get to it. Alchemy Index, as a whole, my favorite thing. My favorite thing, I think, that Thrice... I fucking love the concept. Now, if you don't know, Alchemy Index is 4 EPs mashed together. Fire and Water makes up one album, technically, and then Air and Earth make up a second album. But it's difficult. There's like different ways, granular ways you can sort of arrange or rank this or whatever. So I'll try to do my best with it. So we're listening to Fire, and it's funny because Visu deserved better than what's up, Chair? Yeah, bro, I know everyone's gonna get salty about that. And again, I don't hate Visu. I used to, but I don't hate it. We'll see if we could rearrange, because maybe my guess is that just for the sake of convenience right now, we'll just move it up here. But I think it is on this like same kind of tier to me, but you know, it's definitely better than First Impressions. Like I'm not fucking, even subjectively, I can't go that far. No matter how that, and First Impressions is like probably the single most important thing I've ever listened to. So, despite that, can you say he's becoming racist about it? Yeah, dude, fucking. What kind of race is Visu, bro? It's supposed to be white guys with one guy who's Japanese. You know, I don't know what they're trying to be all fucking... They trying to be Muslim? I don't fucking know. But, what's the origin of a Ouija board? Because Visu kind of looks like a Ouija board kind of thing. I don't actually know the origin of it. I was just being racist for the bit. But, okay, so anyway, Alchemy Index takes the 4 aspects, or the 4 elements, Luigi board, yeah, hell yeah, of Thrice's sound, and kind of applies them to the 4 classical elements. Fire is the more, like, heavy side, so from, like, the Artist and the Ambulance and Illusion of Safety. Water is kind of the more, like, for Miles, Atlantic, Red Sky aspects of Visu. Luigi board is really good. Little bit more piano effects, that kind of stuff. Air is the more post elements of Visu and even Identity Crisis and Illusion of Safety have a little bit of that. And then Earth is the more acoustic stuff, like more like Dustin's solo album, but also the more straightforward songwriting, I think. Less layers, less studio magic, just kind of like the old school urgency as demonstrated through more stripped down instruments, etc., etc. And I think that this is the single most important thing that Thrice has ever done, because it informs the rest of their sound after this. And this was like 2007, I think the first EP, or the Fire and Water came out 2007, and then I want to say 2008 was Air and Earth. I know for a fact it was 2008, but I don't remember exactly what Fire and Water. I'm guessing it was, yes, it was October 2007, because that's when my dog died. And I remember I came home from a friend's party, and this album had come out or leaked or something, and I listened to it, and I remember trying to displace the loss of my beloved childhood dog with my beloved childhood band. I don't fucking know. And I said that I made a Blue Sky skeet about this, but I think every Thrice record I've listened to like day one, similar to Pokemon games in that regard, or Final Fantasy in that regard to me. I've always listened to them as soon as they've come out. Well, not all of them. There's a couple I haven't. But That kind of stuff was really important. So either way, I do think that Fire is really good. The first 3 songs off Fire are amazing. And then Burn the Fleet is okay. So what I think is really interesting about the Alchemy Index is that each EP kind of blends into the next. So Fire starts off like super hard. I would say Fire Breather is overall the hardest song. The Arsonist, this one, gets pretty heavy, but then it quiets up a little bit more. It's more Visu-esque in the midsection, which I'm like not sure about and whatever. But as the EP goes on, it gets more like Water. It gets more melodic and effectsy. There's a Venn diagram, right? And as Water ends, it gets more spacious, like Air. And as Air ends, it gets more stripped down, like Earth. You got Arson the Ambulance when it came out, but that one was like influenced by that. Oh yeah, because Under a Killing Moon was on that sampler. I remember that sampler. I had that. I remember getting all their samplers with the Hopelessly Devoted to You stuff, so I could get that Hideous Strength. And then they had Eclipse on the Fearless one. Motion Isn't Meaning. Motion Isn't Meaning, I think, is what it was. The most important assorted Thrice track to me was Send Me an Angel. I want to do an aside to talk about that here. Sorry. This was on Punko's Pop, because this was in the fucking Wizard, bro. We're talking, I made a big thing about Thrice having like those video game elements of it. You sound like some Dharmic philosophy lecturer, man. It's a mixture of the elements, man. Yeah, I mean, look, I probably should have thought about what to say before doing this, and look, Thrice isn't deep, I think a lot of people talk about the Alchemy Index like it's just like insanely deep concept. It's not. But I've always been an element slut. I'll talk a little bit about that in just a sec. But yeah, this song, by Real Life was the name of the artist, I believe. It's it's from the movie The Wizard. Very 80s, but 80s pop kind of song. And Thrice covered it with this the fucking Thrice guitar style, man. Just that just guitar center pedal tone. You love to see it. Your favorite Gold. Oh my god. But this was like a huge. I remember getting Punko's Pop for this song, and I fucking loved this song. And I don't know. Thrice was like always grazing the things that I love. Never like fully went into it. It's not like they did a song about Final Fantasy, right? But they did a fucking they covered the riff of an NES game I played. I didn't love that game, but I was familiar with it. Like I was just getting into Dragon Ball Z, just like it's like they were, I don't know, like peeling back the grain for me to explore more of, and the other aspects of media that I love. And I think it's weird that there's always been this parallel with that. A mixture of Earth and Ether. Oh, fuck you. Famous Alchemist over here. These... Right. Like, I don't know, but like it's kind of like a sellout concept in a way, but it can be kind of fun. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot. At the time, it was cool to me, But anyway, we'll talk about. I don't really have that much to say about Fire. I think Fire is actually my least favorite of the 4 EPs in this, but the Water album has an instrumental called Night Diving, and this is high key one of my favorite Thrice songs. It's like very Mogwai-esque, but it's got this big chunky fucking almost. They definitely heard Oceanic by ISIS and were like, let's rip that off. And Thrice definitely has a lot of like, I see a parallel with Thrice in Final Fantasy, where like Final Fantasy doesn't always do new things. It just does these. It just is this great digestible synthesis of everything else that came before it in the collective unconscious, right? And I think Thrice is kind of like the musical equivalent of that too. It's more like it just gives me, I feel guilty for enjoying popular. Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. It's like pretentious in a way. But I feel like that concept is kind of dying now. That was a thing in the early 2000s. See, one thing I don't think a lot of people realize is that music scenes in the early 2000s were insanely fucking judgmental, insanely cliquey. Everything is kind of blended together a little bit more as the years gone by. But I think, I'm not saying that that's not still the case. I'm sure the Gen Alpha Screamo scene is gatekeeps. But I do think that as time has gone on, it's gotten a lot, the borders have dissolved. You know what I'm saying? And all right, so anyway, this is one of my favorite Thrice songs, Night Diving. Can you guys, is it still, oh, I didn't put the thing up. Hold on, sorry. Oh, it doesn't have lyrics. But this one's really cool. The Wailer is an amazing song. I think Earth, every song on this EP is a banger, but there's one thing I fucking hate, and it's I think it's is it Open Water? No, Open Water is good. It's Lost Continent. It has one of my least favorite things. Look at I hate the lyrics to this so much. I just do not like these lyrics. This is like my least favorite Thrice lyrics. There's one where it's like, do we even want to know what's going down? This part. I hate it. It's such like, it just feels like a forced rhyme scheme. I can't stand that. I don't like that. But the piano, I love how the piano sounds on this. That really like washed out, reverby kind of, almost like plate reverby piano. Yeah, there's a larger word. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for that, but I don't know. I've always, one of the things I like about Thrice too is their blending of all those things, and it was like Thrice was really corny to people. They probably still are really corny to people, because they just put everything in a fucking blender. They wanted to do corny, cheesy emo vocals, and they did it. They wanted to do really melodic stuff, and they did it. And you can argue that that's maybe, I don't know, the pastiche, but maybe a little, I don't know, emulous or whatever. But I don't know, man. I think getting over that pretension is something even music nerds need to do. We come from the tale of the generation of I'm a metal guy or I'm a hip hop guy. We just kind of listen. Yes. Yeah. And there was that. There was like an ascribing of a status or a role to your taste. And I don't think that's really the same thing anymore. In my early teen years, I listened to Latin music and thought new contemporary rock sucked, but grew out of that. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a boomer in some ways. I think a lot of modern shit sucks. I don't listen to any kind of pop music anymore, right? But I don't know. Part of that's just, it's not for me, you know? Exactly, Billy. Exactly. I mean, Fisher said all music since Jungle Rock in '94 is the same old shit. Might as well be an everything guy and find out what's going on. Do we even really want to know what's going down? Yeah, R.I.P. D'Angelo. I mean, almost everything is pastiche. You need a good pastiche. True. I think that, like, post-modernity hitting its zenith in the early 2000s or mid-2000s. Maybe that's a myopic way to look at it, too. Maybe looking at it like, oh, it hit its peak in the early 2000s or mid-2000s is incorrect, because we don't know. Fuck you so hard. But the Whaler, anyway, really good song. This is, about Dustin's daughter and all that kind of stuff. But I just love the textures on this. I think one of my issues with the Alchemy Index, though, is as I've gotten older, as time has gone on, I don't like the production as much. It sounds too, even for the time, it sounded a little too early 2000s. I like it better than Visu. Don't get me wrong. Thrice says that the Artist in the Ambulance was overproduced. I don't know if I necessarily... Maybe I agree with that, but I think it ends up sounding better than this record does. I do think Air does sound better. I love how Air sounds. Of all four of the EPs here, I think Air sounds the best. This is a weird, kind of almost cheesy song about 9/11, but I love the dynamics of it because there's like this tension with the openness of the music here. And when like the big fucking chuggy post-hardcore riffs come in, it just hits super hard. And like everything is undercut by that like swaying, chiming guitar, almost Appleseed Cast sounding like post-emo-esque guitar, And then the chorus, very Visu. But I just think it just mixed really well, and I think it sounds good. I kind of do wish that the guitar was a little bit chunkier. Maybe the bass had a little bit more stereo to it, but I mean, I guess that's kind of at the opposition, in opposition to the concept of the Air album. I don't know, but this is my favorite. The Air EP, the Air songs, my favorite of all four, and probably the biggest group of Thrice songs I like the most. Hold on, but Amazon is. Wind and Sea Spray, yes. Okay, so one of my favorite Thrice songs, period, if it's in my top 3, is a song for Millie Michelson. I fucking love this song. And again, we're talking about Thrice grazing the things that I love. This is inspired by the movie The Boy Who Could Fly. And it's kind of like written from the perspective of that film. And I used to watch that movie all the time. I had such like a little kid simp phase. And this song lyrically reminds me of just like being a kid and discovering discovering I have romantic feelings. Like the burgeoning developing aspect of like learning how to care for somebody kind of a thing. It's just like that really innocent quality. And the movie is a very like innocent the movie kind of sucks, but it's like a cute little kid thing. But the riff here, the way that this song is just this droning riff. Fuck, I'm Demi. Yeah, true. It's true though. She got me. Also, Anne having the same color as me is fucked up. And I don't know if it's like that if you did that and if you accidentally did that, or if it just because it auto assigns colors, but that's fucked up. But this is a softy song, and this is like it's just all about dynamics because like the little reverse on everything. Couleur, no, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Indian, it's not color. I'm trying to channel low tier gods thing. I'm not actually being racist. But again, like there's one song on each of these EPs that like kind of breaks the ludic aspect of it, And this is one of them because it's like, okay, now we're not just talking about the concept within the concept. We're talking about here's a movie reference. We're going to tie that movie reference into the theme of the EP. But it's just super melodic. I just love how it builds up. It's kind of poppy too. but like very foreboding. And like when it starts to build up in the second chorus with the high notes on the piano here coming in and the little post-rock snare, you know, fuck yeah, man. That shit hits so hard. It's very liminal sounding. This is very liminal production. And you know how I feel about that. Daedalus is the perspective shift from the melting point of wax about Icarus, which we'll get to that. I like this song a lot. I don't like this live that much. I really like. I go through phases with this song, but as the crow flies, this is probably the weakest bit, and because it feels interstitial, so I don't really see it as a like a full track. It just blends Daedalus into what is. This is the most like underrated thing that Thrice has done. So each of the ending songs on these EP take the same melody and rough chord progression and just change around the composition and the key, I'm sure, too, a little bit. But this, to me, is my favorite. And the lyrics to this, holy shit. And it just, like, Dustin is doing that, like, very head voicey falsetto in here. Like, that very ethereal stuff. And I wish Thrice did a little bit more like this. Oh, dude, that album is amazing, Mushroom. I fucking love that. There's a movement on that. I think it's called She Was a Boxcar or something. It's the really heavy part in Storm, I believe. With like this slide. Oh my god, man, that shit, like, it overwhelms me. But also the last songs on these EPs are supposed to be like from the perspective of the element or whatever. But like, I don't know, the concept, like tying in the concept of air to loss and to, I don't know, like memory, to me. That's kind of where I see it. Because I don't think about wind as an element, like as a thematic element in that way, but like memory is a huge part of air or wind to me. And it's like, that's what I feel like this song kind of does. Like, and you know, air, memory, the wings, I don't know. It's really, really cool imagery. But now on to Earth, which is pretty good. I think Earth is a little... Thank you for the sub, Armor. Thank you very much, man. It's very, you know, tight. I don't really have that much to say about Earth because, you know, obviously it's very much around the almost like Dustin Kensrue solo shit. It is what it is. It's what I like about Earth, though, is that it takes a lot of the influence that Thrice was like maybe too afraid to do before, because this is like the most like unabashed part, and I don't know. To me, Thrice has always been very ensemble. Like, I know Riley, the drummer, writes a lot of the tappy riffs that I think a lot of people attribute to Tepe, the guitarist. And there's a lot of background vocals with Tepe and Ed, the bassist, too. Bass is so huge on Thrice records. Maybe not the early stuff as much, but especially on the newest one. Oh my god, I think the bass is might be my favorite part of the whole record. But like, you know, I don't know. It's cool that you see like each of the 4 albums kind of highlighting one of the members of the band. You know, I would say that Water, if anything, gets the percussive elements. The percussive elements of Water is huge. And then bass on Fire, you know, vocals on Air, and then or vocals on Earth, and then more like the guitar stuff on Air, because Air being very post-rocky, very guitar fronted. You know, you think Hello Rockview by like Less Than Jake, that was a banger for me. I used to listen to that all the time. Okay, I'm sorry. I could talk about Alchemy Index all day. I fucking love this record. Or the group set of records. Yo, what up, Tyro? How you doing, man? Welcome. Man, I really could. I didn't think this was gonna go on as long as it was, especially when I didn't think of anything to say beforehand. Okay, I might have to speed this up a bit. So let's go back. Let's. Oh, I didn't add one album. It's okay. It's not an important thing. Let's go to Identity Crisis. Now this album, I think this album is really sick. I like it better than Visu. I'm sorry. I fucking like it better than Visu. It does kind of sound like shit. It's an early album, man. I own the original release. So this album originally had a release on Green Flag Records, and it had an extra track called Madman that went into Under Par. And then they changed it. You probably can't hear this too well. To make... they like gave the end of track 9, Unquestioned Answers, the outro that used to be in the track 10. So that's really interesting. But I remember when I got the actual CD, the actual like Sub-City, which was the label that they were on at the time, release of this, it was missing that song. And that song is easily the worst song on the album to me, Madman, the one that was cut. But it was just weird that it got like replaced. This indicated for me an album being purpose whether or not I listened to top. Yeah, so each song off of Air is amazing to me. I'm never a skipper. Sometimes I have two moods. Album mood and not album mood. So if I'm not in an album mood, I'll just listen to specific songs or a playlist or whatever. But most of the time, I'm like, hey, I want to listen to Identity Crisis. I hit track 1 and I don't stop until the end track is done. You know, I never skip. If I'm listening to an album, I don't skip, even if I fucking hate a song. Unless there's like, I'm trying to get, like, I have to leave in 10 minutes or something, and I want to quickly hear track 9 or something like that. You know how it goes. But consistency is huge to me, and I think most Thrice records have no skippers. All hitters, no skippers, even if I like some songs more. But okay, so Identity Crisis has a really angsty, there's a lot of songs like, coming off of the First Impressions demo EP that are kind of about like, hey, I'm mad at my family because they won't let me be a punk rocker and do my thing. This song, Ultra Blue, I think this is a really underrated track on this album. You know what it reminds me of? The song, what I used to do, I used to play F-Zero GX, and I used to blast it. I used to go to the track, Big Blue, and play the song Ultra Blue. Because the riff is so good, bro. I fucking love that riff, man. You talk about vocabulary, Thrice, like half of my vocabulary came from Thrice records. From like, up until the age 13. Oh god, that fucking rule. Dude, I saw Illusion of Safety in its entirety live at Furnace Fest, and that was one of the best sets I've ever seen because they played it like so honestly. I thought they were going to do a lot of like modern flourishes with it, and it was tight. It was so fucking good, dude. It was so fucking good. And even if you don't like that record, I would think that was a very, like, it wasn't one-to-one. It was missing a lot of like the really young shit, and there definitely some things got changed around and whatever. Some lyrics were stumbled through, but that like kind of adds to it because that's a very verbose album, and so is this album. Identity Crisis is very verbose. Now, I talked a bit about like Thrice's concept for of an album, and like there's this whole like instrumental track with this really moody guitar. I love this riff. It's on the Next Day is the name. The New Day. The Next Day. It's a really cool acoustic riff. And I like, you can see the whole like almost elemental side of them as far back as this. And I didn't really hear too many bands do shit like this back in the day, so. And then this is a fucking chugger. You know, I think this album is like, it's full of heaters, bro. I think Under Par is kind of Unquestioned Answers is okay, but it does have this one part toward the end that's insane. Where is it? It's this part right here. This part right here. It's corny. It's fucking like slam poetry. But the cutting into the screams there, man, it's so good. And it's like, I think a lot of people might find this like an embarrassing kind of album to listen to. I don't know, because it's just very young and angsty, but I don't know, dude. Like, you can tell that they were just kind of like, what makes a really memorable song, what people are going to remember from this record are the fucking heater riffs. So there is a little bit of that. There's a bit of like, we're going to be a big band one day kind of aspiration to it. That's like maybe not the most honest thing. But I don't know, man. This record slaps, and I think it's there's some pop punk and In Your Hands. Phoenix Ignition is such a cool intro, like the little acoustic, and then the title track, the eponymous track, is heavy. It's catchy. It's memorable. It sounds a lot like what they would do next, which is Illusion of Safety, which is my favorite Thrice record. There it is. I'm sorry. I know I said it's Alchemy Index, but as a whole, Alchemy Index is. But Illusion of Safety, dude, there's too much nostalgia there, and there's too many feelings imbued in this record for me not to put it this high. I love how every song off this record is fucking relentless. And they kind of did that with First Impressions. They even kind of did it with Identity Crisis. They weren't afraid to let the fucking pop punk constant face-to-face drumming, Bad Religion as drumming, they weren't afraid to just stop that for a bit and do like an ambient track with some, rain and acoustic guitar, which by the way, that track the ambience comes back in the next track on that record, and it's A Torch and All Torches. Or wait, did I get that backward? I think I might have got that backward. But maybe it's whatever. The next track, the rain comes back, and that's all that matters. But yeah, now this album though, fucking everything, even the melodic parts are like the relentless. Yo, what's up, B? How you doing? I missed everybody, man, and I'm so glad that everybody is tuning in for this, or at least has stopped by, despite not even saying anything. I love this in the lyrics here: guitar wailing and drums pounding. I miss you guys too. How has your Final Fantasy stuff been? Are you still continuing with that? And it sucks too, because I feel like such a fucking asshole, because when I'm stepping away from stuff, I don't have time to even hop on Twitch and watch my friends. Tag Assault, yeah. I did Scrimblow FF Tactics, and I got the platinum in 2 days. I'm the least critical of music. Yes, me too. Yeah, I'm very feels-based with music. Just like I'm very feels-based with images, with film too. Yeah, and I didn't really... oh my god, I was talking to Gordon about this, Game Dad 7. Shout out to Game Dad 7. But I was thinking about doing another run on PS4 for a second plat, because I grinded my entire team to max. Exorcist 3, that's the Halloween one, right? The Witches one? That one fucks. But yeah, I grinded my whole team. There's so many ways I can do it faster. You can just... What you can do is make a save and, get Zodiac first. And then, plan out what your team is so you can, steal their crystals and get all the... Especially Time Mage shit. Time Mage and Black Mage and White Mage shit. But anyway, because my whole playthrough is on Tactician, and I'm really curious, which I thought was still very easy, but also very volatile. It felt like I was getting cooked in some parts that I shouldn't have gotten cooked in with RNG. But yeah, no skips on this record. The only song that I think is this one, See You in the Shallows. I don't think this is held up as well as it did when I was a kid. But because I really loved how like pop punk and Identity Crisis this song was. And now it doesn't hold as well, even though I fucking love the melodic ass riff on here, the palm muting, and the little. I love the mix of the palm muting and the open, non-palm muted parts. But yeah, this is probably my least favorite track on the record, and it's got these like a subtle dagger, which is definitely a play off of Pullman's A Subtle Knife. And a Betrayal is a Symptom are both Rufio for adults, yes. Yeah, heavy, fucking mosh call Rufio. My feared music is that it gets into the slam poetry lyrics. I could have Protest the Hero. I hate Protest the Hero, I can't. But I will say that Illusion of Safety was probably huge for Protest the Hero. I have all the tracks liked on Spotify except So Strange. Okay, that's like my favorite track on the record, man. I don't know why. I love that fucking... I love that song so much. But every song of this is a heater. Bro, one thing that never... Obviously, Deadbolt. I don't need to talk about Deadbolt. There's a part at the end of the Red Death. This is the heaviest thing that Thrice ever did. Maybe not sonically, but right here. Right here. I'm just gonna try to let this part play. The lyrics, that into a living dance like this? Are you fucking kidding me, bro? That's so sick. It just doesn't give up. The flow. Oh yeah, okay. I will say that Armor, yes, the snare on this record is not the production on this record is something. It's I almost wish it was different. But at the same time, it is what it is. You get what you get. It's fucking Xenogears, bro. It could have been more polished, but maybe it's better that it wasn't. And yeah, that snare is like, it's grating at times. I think I've learned to love it. How I learned to stop worrying and love the fucking shitty pop snare. But, and then this song is super melodic. It's very, try-hard, lyrical, writer guy. Where Idols Once Stood, the beginning of this song is At the Gates. And then it explodes into like Nitro Records shit. Very heavy. Trust is the emo song. To Awaken, Avenge the Dead, fucking heater. I don't know how to describe this other than a heater. And just the lyrics of this are so fucking cool, man. I don't know. But So Strange I Remember You. I can tell this song was written like stream of consciousness. Or like very much not as polished as the rest. And I applaud that. There's a lot of imagery, symbolism in these lyrics that Dustin never fucked with before. You could probably see it here. But I don't know, just something about like the way that the melody, the fact that the song has like 7 different movements. It goes into here's the punk part, now here's the super melodic part with the Thrice riff. And I feel like this specific part right here is the part where the vocals match the music the most of the entire record. Well, the singing vocals. And then like the slightly minor. It's so good, man. Like this, I don't know. Yeah, there is a meditative quality to it for sure, but it's just that kind of like, I'm just like sick of this shit aspect to it too. But yeah, and then a lot of people don't like Beltsville Crucible because like what I know about this song is that they wrote it like in the studio. I'm sorry. I'm just I have to ignore the bit so I can get through this and not get distracted. But I really like how driving this song is. I learned I did a cover of this song and In Years to Come once, and I did this like just open chords, and it kind of sounded good. It's weird how a song from that can sound okay. But I don't know. This song reminds me of A Link to the Past. I've listened to it a lot while playing A Link to the Past. I don't know. There's also a song on here called That Hideous Strength. I could probably pull it up on Spotify. I'm taking too long with this shit, so I'm not going to. But that should have been on the record. I really wish it was. When they played the album live, they did play that. And that song is fucking heavy. Got a really cool breakdown in it, too. So Artist of the Ambulance is kind of like the mainstream version, the more mainstream version of Illusion to Safety. And Illusion to Safety was a big record for them. Huge for them. I think everyone says Artist is the big record for them, and it is. It definitely was. But like, Artist wouldn't have happened if Illusion to Safety didn't loosen the lid to the jar, you know. And this is where they signed to Island Records and the first major label. And this is like, I think, like the fan favorite record. But I love how this record sounds. I know it might be overproduced, but again, you're talking early 2000s post-hardcore shit. Like, kind of. There's probably a lot of pitch correction in here, but I think I don't know. It adds to the fucking glitz, glamour, the sheen to it, and it had the coolest insert. These like little cards that slid into the front of it. Really sick. I have such a distinct memory of staying up all night. I had some friends over, and we were staying up all night playing video games. We were probably playing Smash Bros. And everyone fell asleep around 4 a.m. And I stood up all night so I could walk to Best Buy at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. And I remember I picked up this record and Deja Intendu by Brand New, which we don't talk about Brand New because they got Turbo canceled. And they're like a conservative guy band now. But I remember that album had been out for a little bit, I think, but it was $9.99. And I hated Your Favorite Weapon by them. But I bought it because I was like, I'll give this record a chance. My friends love Brand New. I hate them. Brand New was for the homies. Thrice was for me. And I loved both. I still like Deja Intendu, unfortunately. But yeah, I remember just going home and listening to this whole record on my headphones in the bathroom. I like took a long walk back home listening to it. So I listened to the whole record. Got home, went into the bathroom in the morning and just listened to it in the bathroom. I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know. And then my Discman died or something. And it just such a fucking, it's very nostalgic, but I don't know. It's got a lot of these like more at the gates moments like this. All that's left is like okay. I do think like the second half of the album, like from Blood Clots all the way down to the final. I mean, not the title track, but Blood Clots, Abolition, and Don't Tell and We Won't Ask are all kind of like, and Hoods on Peregrine too. They're all kind of similar songs to me, even though they're not. And that's okay. It's almost like, and then like I feel like this song. This song like follows Paper Tigers is amazing. This is one of my favorite tracks off this record. It's not my favorite track. This song like picks up on the momentum of Paper Tigers, does a little something different. Definitely here to show off the bass, and then it's like cut with this like more poppy song with strings, the melting point of black. So like we're doing something pretty with this Icarus ballad, and then it goes back into the kind of like typical stuff on the album, and then it's undercut with the most poppy song on this, which is kind of of a sort of corny-ish, very early 2000s, almost Motion City soundtrack intro. And I love this. And then, of course, you got the siren hit the lights, close the doors, and I am gone. Such a good riff. Everyone knows that riff. But then it goes back into the chunkier, that ends with the two chunkier aspects. And I like the texture of that. They redid this album a couple years ago to try to make it sound less overproduced or whatever. I don't really like a lot of the renditions of it. It to me, that's just like, it's like a live album. They redid the wrong album. Yeah, true. I think it's cool though. I think it's cool that they did it, right? But as a whole, I don't know. It's I don't think any of the songs are really any better or really make you rethink. You know what I mean? And I kind of don't like. There's the whininess to this. The vocals make it to me. Dustin actually learning how to sing almost has made it worse. I always thought he was a good vocalist. Though. Even from first impressions, I loved the style. I was always into it. But anyway, I think over time this album has kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit with me. I saw them do this whole record live. Again, no skippers. I don't think no skippers. Just some are bigger heaters than the others. But I think it's very consistent. It's consistent almost to a fault. And also with that, I will talk about what I think is maybe their most inconsistent record. Is it Beggars or what I would say is Palms? How many Visus? Two Visus. I would say Palms. The most inconsistent. The Visus. Now, hold on 1 second. Did I just? Yes, I did. There we go. Palms. I like it more than Visu. I'd put it around Identity Crisis. I don't know if I like it more. For now, I'll just put it more. I think a lot of people like their comeback record, To Be Everywhere is to Be Nowhere or whatever. I think a lot of people like that one more. I don't like The Gray. The Gray is probably the song I like the least off this. But this is a really corny song, The Dark. But I really like it. I don't know. Sometimes the corny shit that Thrice does hits with me. 1.3 Visus. But I really love Just Breathe. This song has Emma Ruth Rundle on backing vocals. I don't know. One thing I have to say, I usually don't like Thrice's singles. So I don't know. But I don't know. Something about this album, I feel like it doesn't sound as overly polished as To Be Everywhere is, but I think that To Be Everywhere is way more consistent of an album. But I like how this one tried to be a little bit more I don't know, almost electronic in some ways. Like it relies on these like really subtle aspects of the songs to really carry it. Like My Soul is kind of more of like a vibey song though. And this is I feel like this record is probably more corny. This is probably their corniest record. But I like Hold Up a Light a lot. This is very anthemic. Beyond the Pines is amazing. It's a very short record actually, and I think that's why I like it more as a record than To Be Everywhere, because even though it doesn't have the peaks of that record, it's just consistent. As an album itself, it ends up being better. To me anyway. Even if it's not as good. Even if it doesn't do as much interesting stuff. So then let's talk about To Be Everywhere. So this record, I love The Long Defeat. This is a really good song. This is a really good record. These are like pretty close to me though. I would say these are like almost even. And again, I do think this one kind of wins and I'll tell you why. It's because of these tracks. I don't really care for Stay With Me. Death from Above is okay. Whistleblower. Okay, so these three tracks right here are album tracks, kind of in the same way I was talking about with Artists in the Ambulance. I don't dislike them, but they don't stand out, and they're kind of just there. They're fiber. And they have really good parts to them, too. This album has Seneca, which is this really cool bridge. Really atmospheric bridge. Guys, I fucking love Thrice's little bridges. I like them a lot. I don't know. There's a lot of corny shit on this one, too. For sure. Okay, here's the thing I don't like about this record. And I don't really hear people talk about this that much. Oh, dude, what's up, Six?
Holy Lord,
can we get
some
a happy
Thrice shit
birthday
has come literal
to
full
Mr.
circle.
6 and 2/3? He was doing like I don't know how long you streamed for, a 5-hour birthday stream. You like Palms better too? So here's the issue I have with this, and I you could hear it on Hurricane. It's way too modern rock. I don't know, something about the production, and I love Dustin's vocals on this. I love how like gravelly they are. It's very in key. It's just a little too rock, and it's the performance. I think it's the takes that they use. It's the effects that they used. Okay, actually no, I think the post-production on the vocals is great, but I think it's actually really fucking good. And I think the post-production on the vocals is probably better on this record than Palms. But just the style of singing and the, I guess, enunciation and melody and stuff, it's very A-B rhyme scheme shit. Yes, it's very alt. And I think it works. The back on the throne.
Thanks for the shouts. Great to see JOIE back on the throne. Non-GI.
I love Black Honey. I think that the riff is really cool. And this song grew on me. Actually, Blood on the Sand is the song that I think it works the best on, the vocals. Because it's very rock still, but it works really well for it. And he does the thing where he screams into the pickups there. Or at the end of the at the end of the song he does it. I think that's badass. And everyone talks about this song, Salt and Shadow. I love this song. I think Beyond the Pines is a better closer, but I love the riff. I love the very analog tape effect on it. But yeah, I just think it's a little too rock. And again, Palms is guilty of that too, but it's a little bit less, I don't know, bloated? Not that I think this record's bloated or any Thrice record is necessarily bloated, but relative, you know. I'm sorry that you were struggling with it too. My GI issues have been pretty bad, but I've been like intermittently fasting more. So it's been a little bit better. So either way, we'll put this here. Thrice broke up for a while and came back with this album. It was more like they just took an extended hiatus. So let's talk about the album that came out before they took a hiatus, and that's Major Minor. Now, this is a kind of divisive record too, because I actually like this record more than both of these. Except I'm not a huge fan of the first two tracks. Yellow Belly is like one of my least favorite Thrice songs. I like it way better live. Yeah, because usually I'll fast for like 8 to 12 hours, but I've been doing like 15 to 18, and it's helped me a lot. Like I had pizza yesterday around, I don't know, 6:37, and then I haven't really eaten anything since then. But either way, I don't really like Yellow Belly that much. And Promises is kind of mid too, but Blinded is Such a fucking good song. This is like I relate a lot to the lyrics in this one, and also you know what one of my favorite things is the tremolo picking right here. It's like a callback to Beggars a bit. You've been working a bunch of papers at once, so oh yeah, dude, stress eating really bad. Exactly. You know what it is? It's not just an eating disorder with plausible deniability. It's a good excuse to insert your religion into having an eating disorder. You know, we like that. So, I don't know if I'd necessarily put this in the tier above this. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Here's how I see it. Because these are like, and again, C tier is not bad. I love these records. I still think they're good. They're good. But Cataracts is really good. Call It in the Air, very underrated song by Thrice, I think. It's the melodies, the melody with the vocals that really gets me on that, and the harmonies in the chorus. Shredding Paper is really good. The intro is kind of and then it gets better. Blur sounds like it was written for Tony Hawk. You love Lent, Ramadan, and you're stacking a religious holiday so you can mask your eating disorder. You're that level of cosmopolitan. Words in the Water is amazing. It's very Christian. Listen Through Me is probably one of the more forgettable tracks off of it, but it's got this kind of major minor interplay with Words in the Water, which I really like. Anthology, this is like the big Thrice song for a lot of people. It's this super self-referential thing, that track that plays off of all their old songs, and it seems like a fourth wall breaking, but also like a love letter to the band itself, both as like for individuals in the band and everybody who revolves around the band, the audience, the fans, whatever. But it's also, it's got the Thrice callback riffs, the chiming tone, the illusion of safety bass, a little bit of shred right here. The more like standard like punk rock minimalist drumming. But this song, this is the most, talking about underrated, I've said it several times. This is like probably top 3 or 4 Thrice songs. Disarm. It's like deeply sad sounding. I love the fucking riff. I fucking love the riff. And the swells, it sounds like almost like an Air song. And remember what I said about the Alchemy Index kind of informing everything else that Thrice has done? You can label every song Thrice has done since Alchemy Index with one of those 4 elements. That's a 10 Vsauce track, hell yeah. I love the lyrics to this. I love the kind of hopelessness to it, the sad elegiac quality to it. Because remember, this is the album that they put out right before they broke up. And it's like, it has that like meta commentary with it. I don't know, it's a very typical song. It doesn't really, I guess I get why it's not a standout track to people, but sometimes these are the songs that really fucking hit with me. But yeah, it's this album, it's inconsistent also in terms of like, I feel like this is probably the most peaks and valleys of the Thrice albums for me, but the ones that hit really hit, and I think Beggars is the same kind of thing. I don't think Beggars is as good as Major Minor, to be honest. There was a time where I thought Beggars was like top 3 records. But here's the issue with Beggars. I hate the first track, All the World Is Mad. I do not like this track. Do not like it at all. The Great Exchange, kind of mid. The title track, amazing. In Exile is amazing. I like Doublespeak. I like the 1984 shit with the song. And Double Speak, it comes from that. In Exile's like really, I talked a lot about this before, but like my cultural experience is very weird. Having been adopted, having a crazy adoption story, a lot of that plays into like socio-cultural dynamics and all that kind of stuff. This song really, I don't know, gets me in that way. And again, in a kind of corny way. This song, At the Last, this is like one of the most, like, I don't get why this song is extremely dynamic too. It goes into a lot of the Visu kind of things, but it's very straightforward. And Beggars, in and of itself, it was like a far more straightforward album after the Alchemy Index huge, big conceptual project. And I think I really applaud that progression, you know. And I really like how we're just like, we're going to just do something straightforward. We're doing this just to get it out. We're pooping these songs out. Because we want just, yeah, it adds texture to the catalog. It makes their catalog really interesting. Inconsistent to some, but yeah. But like right here, this part right here in it, like we're in the chorus cuts in, so good. I love how the vocals sound on this too. They're scratchy, there's kind of, they're yelly, but not fully post-hardcore screamy. I don't know, the lyrics are cool. It's a very narrative song. And I do think Thrice's songs are always very conceptual lyrically. You know, this is the 1984 song, blah, blah, blah. But this is a very narrative song. A very perspective-based song. So it doesn't mean to take a shit, yeah. And obviously Beggars, the title track, so good. Very prescient song. Again, a little on the nose. Huge shit in the middle of the record. Hell yeah, no pee-pee. No pee-pee. But yeah, I know people don't really like Beggars that much, and I do agree. It's like a little rough around the edges. I have some production issues with it. You can tell that they were still figuring out the whole, like, they were trying different things with the self-recording aspect. They're trying to just, like, really just capture the urgency on this record. And maybe I said some stuff contrary to this, but I do like that at the end of the day, the shit that Thrice does, even the shortcomings end up working really well. The perceived shortcomings end up working really well for the quality of their records and their music. So I don't know. Beggars is still really good, man. It's got a lot of like holy fuck moments to it that I like. So I want to talk about these two live albums. I actually think that the Live at the House of Blues one is better. It sounds better. I fucking love this version of Deadbolt. Because they add because they saw they play it live and they add this whole tremolo picking aspect to it. They learned that from Visu. You know. I fucking love it. I like how this one sounds better. Maybe this set list might be a bit better on... No, I don't know. Set list is probably better on this one too. Even though this one has like the old heaters. We'll do this Phoenix Ignition live track. But I don't want to talk too much about these, but I do think that they're both really cool. They're very good live albums. They don't really do anything like different in terms of a live album. But I think it was like a really cool boon for the fans, and it's like it just proves that they're really good live. You know, I feel like these live albums will get you to see Thrice before a studio album will, if that makes sense. I don't know. They're good live albums. The only thing is an anthology. Where is the Artist in the Ambulance is a good example. Where is it? Did I scroll past it? Yeah, the way that Dustin says eyes is so funny. Hold on. Hold on, just gonna listen. Eyes. And ever since I heard that version of it, every like live song between this record and like 2021, I just hear Oz and everything. Bloodshot ass. Either way. So I don't want to talk too much about this. If We Could Only See Us Now is like a compilation. It was like a thing that came out after Artists in the Ambulance when they started getting big. And it's a compilation of a bunch of their B-sides and tracks like Send Me an Angel that were on compilations. Motion Isn't Meaning, that was a Artists in the Ambulance. Any Clips were Artists in the Ambulance B-sides. Little things like that. If you... There's a DVD with it too. That's kind of fun. In the DVD, I think it's Ed or Riley calls something R-worded. So very much of the times, this is not on Spotify either. I don't think it's on any of the music platforms. So I can't really rate this. It's hard to rate. I just put it on here for posterity. So we're just going to move it down here. But you know what? I'll leave it up here. I like these albums more anyway, even with the amazing B-sides. That Hideous Strength, I think, is on there too. God, I fucking love that song. But even with that, though, I don't know. So now, let's talk about Horizons West and East. So this is also like a kind of conceptual project. Horizons East came out, what year? 2021. Oh, wow, 21. Jesus. And Horizons West just came out like 2 weeks ago. And I know that a lot of the tracks were either written around the same time or recorded around the same time. And the whole thing is like, actually, hold on, I got a playlist of it all here. I'll go over here. So that's 21 tracks plus 2 B-sides. There might be even more B-sides to it. So like 23, 24 tracks, I don't know. Admixture of Fire and Water. Yeah, okay, so here's something I really want to talk about with Horizons West and East. And I've been kind of following like their Instagram, and I've been seeing people's testimonials of what they think of the album. And okay, so the Alchemy Index to me is plotted 4 different ways. Here are 4 different, almost contrary perspectives. Horizons West and East are not supposed, and again, maybe I'm wrong about intent here. I'm not trying to argue intent. This is just what I derive from these records. I don't see Horizons East and West as oppositional. I see them as like, it's not like, oh, here's West's take on a subject and here's East's take on the subject. It's like parallel. It's parallel thinking, but it's also kind of like, I don't know how to describe this. It's just looking at the same sun from 2 different places, and it's not trying to highlight the separation of that. It's trying to. It's like a different movement for each of those perspectives. I can't really fully articulate this sentiment, but it's not supposed to be oppositional. It's not supposed to be binary. Here is the West perspective. Here is the East perspective. You know, it's transient. The whole 2 albums are transient, and I'm actually using the word I intend to here. But yeah, East is definitely more fire and water, and West is definitely a little. Well, I don't know. Actually, I would say fire and earth. West is fire and earth, and East. Wait, sorry, I got it backwards. East is fire and earth. West is water and air. Yeah, it's right. Dialectical. That's the word I was searching for but couldn't find. And again, I don't think this is like as intentional or whatever as maybe Thrice wants it to be or whatever. I mean, there's definitely a concept, a running idea, you know. Like, you know, there's leitmotifs in the music in the same way that there were in Alchemy Index. The Color of the Sky and Blackout are like the same chords and the same in the beginning, the same electronic effects. Obviously, Unitive/East ties into Blackout. Unitive/West, the last song off Horizons West, funny enough, loops back to Color of the Sky. And it's like almost unintentional. One thing I found that was really interesting, I just want to talk about this really fast. The way that Dandelion Wine goes into the penultimate track off Horizons West it's eerie. It's a perfect transition, man. It's such a good, it sounds like night and day. You know, again, seeing the same sun from a different place, it doesn't mean you have a different perspective on the same sun. You know, I don't really know how to describe it. I love this song, Summer Set Fire to the Rain. Scavengers is my favorite single, I think, Thrice. Because I said I didn't really like the Thrice singles that much. This is probably my favorite Thrice single. More than Black Honey, too. I love the rhythm guitar. It's so good. And the way the bass plays with it in the chorus. There's still a little bit of the rock vocals in this that I don't really like. But it works in the song. And it works better in the chorus. It's got a... I don't know how to... Almost like a... I don't know how to... Kill switch engage aspect to it. Like, I can't describe it. I can't describe it. And then it goes into this. Here's the major minors / beggars Thrice. You know, we love to see it. I love that little riff. But okay, so this might be this is going to be a hard thing to articulate because I think these albums have a lot of feelings for these albums. Every track off Horizons East is a track I wanted Thrice to write. I think this album is actually Thrice's most experimental. You know, and this is coming from, you know, Alchemy Index and whatever. To me, this is their most experimental. Dandelion Wine, Still Life, The Dreamer, Buried in the Sun, The Color of the Sky. Color of the Sky is also a very narrative song. You know, Still Life especially. There's one moment in Still Life. I want to see if I could find it. Oh, it's right here. Right here. Dude, that's the best moment of the record. That's like one of my favorite Thrice moments. It builds up to that. Like the album talking about this like journey, this dealing with all this shit, trying to see through the muck, trying to pull the scales from your eyes, not even, no pun intended, with broken lungs. And then it just delves into this fucking almost like extremely pessimistic lyric, you know? Right, and it's like, what if I just, and you know, I've dealt with a lot of struggles with self-harm and self-termination and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, it's not really necessarily appealing to me for that specific reason, but like, I don't know, it's that catharsis, like you said. And I don't know, like there's a lot of moments in that are more introspective, more uniquely introspective than I think Thrice has ever done. And then The Dreamer, I don't really like this song that much, but it's kind of cool that they were fucking with structure and style. Because there's like this talking. He's trying to do the almost like Me Without You thing here, listener thing, you know, which I think is corny, but I'm glad he did it. I'm glad they did it, and I don't quite love this record as maybe I should, even though I do like a lot of songs on this a lot. This is a very peaks and valleys record to me too. And I think it caps at Still Life. After Still Life, I kind of lose a little interest, and the album becomes an album in texture. Dandelion Wine, I think this is a very Air track. I love the tone, but I don't like this song that much. I don't like Dandelion Wine, we're drinking, everything's fine. I don't know. It's like, bro, we get it. You read the beats, okay? Like, you read. We get it, bro. You read books. I don't know. Again, but as an album, I think this might be one of their best. Like, as an actual concept of an album. Like, here's the journey you're going on. Even if the songwriting isn't my favorite, even if the songs aren't subjectively or objectively the best, I think this is the coolest album they ever did. But it kind of falls like here for me. You know? I don't know where I think I put it around here. It's funny because it's also short and it feels contingent. Despite the fact that it feels like the most wholly interesting album that they've done, I think it ends up feeling contingent on Horizons West. And I remember feeling like something was missing. I didn't know that they were doing like a two-part kind of, or complementary kind of thing here with these two albums. I didn't know that, really, at first. It took, I don't think I knew for like a year, actually. Hold on, I gotta take a drink of water. But yeah, I just felt like that's it. It feels like there needs to be like an epilogue, a coda here. And there was. So like the whole thing with Thrice for me is that it gives a comfortable form to the corniest emotions. Yes. Angry teenager, like 19. Oh, did I really show you Thrice? Oh, that's right. I remember making you listen to Alchemy Index. Exactly. Acceptable and accessible without feeling like they have to be accessible. You know, like you don't need to make this emotion accessible to be able to digest it, but it tastes good in that sauce. You know what I mean? But yeah, so this is kind of weird because I do think this album is better than all these in a lot of ways, but I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe it, but Horizons West, fuck yeah. And this, I swear to God, this is not just recency bias. I think I might be putting Major Minor a little too high. I think that sounds good. It feels weird to put so many things in the B tier. But I think Beggars also belongs in the B tier. And there's not that much of a divide between these two records, really, but I Return at Last to see live albums. Well, no. Okay, the live tier isn't a bottom tier, Onyx. It's just a separate tier. Exactly, Shashi. I'm familiar with Thrice, but never played through an album, so I'll definitely illusion. What you should do, Tyro, and to anybody who's never listened to Thrice before, if you're interested, listen to Artists in the Ambulance first, and then listen to the Alchemy Index. That's my suggestion. Visu is more of like a better sample plate of everything. But I do think Artists in the Ambulance is a little bit more straightforward. And the Alchemy Index is long-winded enough to get you like a full range of the styles. So like you get a little bit of both. Illusion of Safety is definitely not an album for everybody. You definitely have to have a soft spot for early 2000s bullshit. And the new albums, both Horizons are both really good and really good places to start. My single least favorite song? Oh shit. I think it's actually not Visu. I think it's Beggars. Well, okay, technically First Impressions, because what is it? Single second off First Impression, but it's hard to, that doesn't really count. It's barely a studio album, you know? But I would say Beggars. I don't like All the World Is Mad. Yeah, but I think that there's a big difference between Major Minor and Horizons West. But like even then, even the worst Thrice track doesn't actually suck. I just don't like it, you know? Yeah, I would say that it's probably something off Visu is kind of butt ass too. God, Horizons West is such a headphone album, and Horizons East is too. So after Horizons West came out, I re-listened to Horizons East again, and I liked it more. I definitely liked it more. But only, and this is pretentious, only because of Horizons West's existence. So I don't know. You liked West more than Ambulance too. Interesting. But Artist in the Ambulance is just too embedded in my head. The lyrics on Artist, one thing I didn't talk about Artist lyrics, I don't really like them that much. I would say this is like one of my least favorite albums of theirs lyrically. I think Identity Crisis is better, bro. With that. I think I might like it more than Visu, maybe. But lyrically. But Horizons East and West have some of my favorite Thrice lyrics though. Other than Dandelion Wine, what I was talking about. This song Nash is super heavy too, and the double bass, are you kidding? Filoni brought back double bass for one last one. But okay, so Horizons West also has that thing that East did, where as an album, it's a journey, it's an adventure, it's textural, it has passages, it has it's space. I think the only thing about West that I have majorly negative to say, Holding On. Oh, wait, not Holding On. Sorry. I love this song. I love the intro to Dark Glow, but Dark Glow, Crooked Shadows, and Distant Suns, it's like, they're all good. But it doesn't really hit a peak. And then Vesper Light is an amazing penultimate song. And it's like the last like real song on the album, because Unit of West is more like a coda. Only to observe both London and Ramadan for 3 years to atone. That's fair. Is it Crooked Shadows though? Hold on. Wait. Yeah, this song. What I liked about this song though, this is their most Fugazi song, bro. I haven't heard anyone say any. They're fucking ripping off Fugazi so hard here, man. Especially Guy Picciotto Fugazi stuff. Like the more Guy fronted stuff. And okay, when I say rip off, I don't mean like they're copying, but it's just reminiscent of that. And I do like that. When I was like, oh shit, they're doing a Fugazi thing here, I started to appreciate it a lot more. I saw this meme, shout out to Cody who linked it to me, but it's like guy who pronounces shoegaze like Fugazi. So shoegazy, Shugazi, you know. But yeah, so Crooked Shadows, Dark Glow, Distant Suns, it's sort of like a weird mid block, because I was so locked in for each of the songs. Blackout and Nash are so different. Albatross is so different. Albatross is it's almost like a Okay, so Albatross was a bit of a track that took some time to grow with me because I thought it was like it has Thrice single syndrome with me where it's just like a little too poppy. Exactly, Onyx. But and it's very dude, they're fucking it's corny, it's so poppy, and they overdo the chorus. It almost sounds kind of like a Zoomer post-hardcore. So much time to steal, but I don't know. Then it started growing on me, and I was reading the lyrics. I was like actually looking at the words, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. I love this lyric too, because I just wrote a song called Saffron that uses the color and the same kind of imagery, and it's not intentional. Because it was before I even heard this song. But yeah, I would say give Albatross like 4 listens before you really start to appreciate. Because I didn't like it that much outside of the record. And even in the context of the record, I didn't love it that much. And then it just, I don't know, just grew on me, and I like it a lot more now. Undertow is a standout, though. This is one of my favorite tracks. Because, all right, what does it sound like? It sounds like the water shit. And Undertow, water, come on. We're doing another Alchemy Index. The Alchemy Indices. But yeah, I don't know. As a whole, there's a lot of really cool textures. Each band member has so many different little highlights in each songs. Rather than Alchemy Index, I feel like as albums or EPs, they highlighted each of the individuals. But each song has like a part for everyone. And I fucking love that. I really, really like that. Vesper Light has a really beautiful like head voice falsetto with Dustin. That's very evocative of Silver Wings. Really cool, like reverbed up acoustic. Very ominous sounding. It kind of sounds like a Stephen King, an 80s Stephen King movie adaptation. I don't know. I love the vibe on this record a lot. It's dark, but it's liminal dark. It's not dark as in like night. It's dusk, which is in the West. Of course, that's what it was trying to do. Wasn't Fugazi the emails? Yes. Yeah, that was one of the things. And then Unitive West is very percussive. The wind chimes and the what do you call it? Not the marimba. What's the? Oh God, what the fuck is it called? But it's like a marimba. I forgot what it's called. But I love this as a coda to the album, and I think it's really good. So after all this, and again, I don't have the remat, the HD 2D version of The Artist and the Ambulance. I do not have it up here. They Vaselined it. I don't have that up here, but I don't know where I put that. It's a very difficult thing to be able to guess. Sorry, I should really wrap this up. I know this is a chaotic mess, but this is what we do. We shoot from the cuff. So I did it for Aaron, but also I kind of. All right, so my biggest thing here is Identity Crisis. I love it. I almost want to say it's like over here to me. Compose and perform their next album live. All right. I almost want to say it's higher up for me. And this is a subjective tier list, obviously. But I don't know. I just like as I've gotten older, I started to appreciate the more intricacies of composition, and I think that the modern Thrice really refining their craft did actually kind of make me prefer the newer stuff over Identity Crisis. But it's so good, man. It still hits. Such a good like playing video games from the 6th generation album. 5th or 6th generation, depending on how you want to do it. My only I just don't really know where to place Horizons East, because it's like I like it more than these records, but I also don't. Like I feel like these records have a bigger legacy to me, but I like this record more. I think that's how I'm going to qualify it. But together, if you put these together, I would say it looks like this. You know, I would say that's how it looks to me. Horizons as a project, because I'm kind of lumping Alchemy Index as a project. I would almost say that Fire and Water is like here. But it's hard to really do that. So just because I can't make up my mind, let's put Horizons there as a project here. AKA 4 times exactly, Sky. And I think that's okay. I think this is pretty much where I would land. Visu is my least favorite studio album by Thrice. I do think Visu is a better album than Identity Crisis, obviously. But I just, the songs don't really stick with me that much. It's definitely an album I put on and don't really listen to as intently. Whereas Identity Crisis, I'm like fist bumping. I listened to it in the shower today, and I was so stoked about it. Palms and To Be Everywhere are about the same to me. I do think the same concept here. I think this is the better album, but I end up preferring Palms as an experience more. So Palms is here. Beggars is about the same as these to me, but the thing about Beggars that I really like is that it doesn't have as much rock in the production. 18 Visions, stinky band, really fun band though. I only really like the first 2 albums of theirs. Once they went like super glam, I lost it. 3 Days Grace, insufferable. Can't do it. Sorry, Diego. I mean to shit on your joints. The thing about Beggars is they can't be choosers. Exactly, Sky. And I don't know. Part of me feels a little weird putting Beggars higher than these, but whatever, man. I just appreciate it's an Identity Crisis effect. Plus, I love that Beggars album cover. I think it's cool. A couple other things. Palms had To Be Everywhere had a beat side called Sea Change that was interesting. Palms had two really good B sides. Horizons East had 2 really good B sides, and a couple like EPs with some alternate versions of songs. I made a playlist here. You guys can listen to it there. This is everything included in the Horizons project for Thrice. Major Minor didn't really have 2. I think it had 1 B-side. Visu had 2 B-sides, one of which I don't think... No, it had 3. One they never released. One was on a... What is it? Fucking... Some race or like fucking RTV fucking off-road bullshit thing. Let's hear for the boy. Hell yeah. Major, Minor, and Beggars are like pretty much everything in B, whatever. You can switch it around. I don't give a shit. I'm not as tightly wound. I do like the Horizons project more than Artist, but barely. It's not huge. And then S tier, Illusion of Safety, like probably the I said Identity Crisis these 2 records are the most important in terms of like historic value. Illusion of Safety, the most influential in a like existential, emotional way. And so Illusion of Safety, it's an all-timer record for me. It's never going to drop out of my top 5. Even if I like more records more, it's just too important. It lives in my head rent-free. I know every word, every fucking note of this record. I never learned every instrument part for each of the songs, but maybe one day that's something to do. You know, not even guitar really, but I'm not good enough of a guitarist to be able to play the shredding parts well. So, when's the David Lynch album? He only had 2 or 3, right? Redeem it if you want it. There's a redeem for Tierlist. But if you guys sub, you don't have to get ads. I do plan to stream more, maybe. So it's worth it. And I'm kidding. Don't listen to me. But yeah, that's it. Sorry, this went on a little bit longer than I thought. What do you guys think? What do you guys feel? If you're watching the VOD, what do you think in the let me know in the fucking comments what you think. I wish I had actually written stuff down. This is very from the hip. There's a lot of very specific track nuances. I got stuck on Alchemy Index for way too long. The music stream finally happened. I think Anne made that joke to me, so she beat you to it. Always ahead of the curve. Always ahead of the curve. What else? I don't know. I think I didn't really talk too much about Evisu the way I would like to. I probably made it sound more negative than it was. I feel like the newer albums I didn't talk that much about. Horizons West I had a lot to say about. I just kind of just choked and forgot. But Timothy Chalamet advertised Cash App. Well, I'm on Cash App. I think I have a thing for tips. Where is it here? Here's my show for you today. But yeah, Alchemy Index, I think it's like always gonna. One thing I didn't talk about. I really want to mention this. One of the big reasons. Fuck you, Soul. You made that joke before, and now I have to pin it. When I was like 10 years old or 11 years old, around that time I started listening to Thrice. I wrote this story that was like emulous of every JRPG. It was like a 60-page story. Every JRPG that I ever played, it was like a composite of all those things, and maybe a little Lord of the Rings and Dragonlance, little Magic the Gathering novels that I used to read. But I wrote a story, and this is before Avatar came out. I fucking swear to God, I'm hipstering Avatar. But the whole concept was elements, fire, water, wind, earth, and then time and space, and light and dark. I was really I loved Saga Frontier, and Saga Frontier had that, like the oppositional elements. You can't get shadow magic if you have light magic. You can't get tarot magic if you have rune magic. So I was really inspired by that. So a big concept with that is I wrote this document that was like hundreds and hundreds of magic spells or whatever. It was it's supposed to be like a supplemental to the story based off of all the elements. And, if you ever played StarCraft, the use map settings, custom map shit, there was an RPG called Elements RPG. And I stumbled into that, and that's really what inspired me to write that kind of shit. And I've always been obsessed with the concept of elemental affinity, codifying concepts, identity, whatever, through the elements. Oh, I'm passionate. I'm hot-headed, so I'm kind of fire. But hashtag not all fires, and then Avatar obviously did it. And I was kind of pissed. I didn't watch Avatar for a long time because I thought it stole my idea. But so one of my favorite bands, and the band probably most important in the history of my music, or of my music history, making a series of albums tied around something I'm a huge fucking slut for. Are you kidding, bro? That's so sick. I don't know. And also Phantasy Star Online having the elements, having specific enemies be tied to certain elemental weaknesses, and being able to codify who's weak to what. What's up, Julie? Thank you for coming at the very end. That was a big elemental slut thing. So yeah, that's a big reason why I like Alchemy Index, because that shit was gonna win its favor with me anyway. But okay, I'm done. Sorry, this went on way longer than I thought. I have shit that I want to do and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna raid Wreckage, and then we're gonna leave. Also Full Metal Alchemist, but that didn't hit with me as much for some reason. I don't know why. I liked Full Metal Alchemist. I watched the OG, never watched Brotherhood. But yeah. Anyway, folks, if you see what you like, if you like what you see, check out the Discord. Come hang. I do want to stream Jack Bros sometime soon. Maybe we'll do a little bit more streaming. I did talk about maybe wanting to stream Silent Hill F, but Ann and I were playing that a little bit, so I don't know. Maybe we'll just do that off stream. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I made it to the end at least. Yes, you did. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really appreciate everybody who stuck around this long just listening to me talk about fucking a band that you probably don't even care about. All right. I don't know what to say. If anyone watches this in the VOD, let me know what you think. Love you guys. We'll see you soon. We got Super RPG Friends tomorrow. That's all. Take care, y'all. Videojuegos. One last hydrate. Thank you, baby girl.